Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for the Sunday morning session on the science of self-realization. Before we begin our session, let's offer our praise to Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandrodaya ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Welcome to the Sunday morning session on science of self-realization. Today we're going to conclude the topic which we have been discussing since last few weeks on a very interesting subject matter, that is the compassion of a devotee. So this was a lecture delivered by Prabhupada, which we have been discussing, understanding since last few weeks. And today we're going to complete this topic, subject matter. So all these discussions is happening by the inspiration of His Divine Grace, Prabhupada, who very mercifully has given these teachings in a recorded form for us so that we can all access them and try to understand them in a very nice way. So we owe a great sense of gratitude to Prabhupada for his wonderful teachings. So in the previous sessions, we have understood the following points. This whole talk is based on the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam 6th canto is giving a description of one particular incident which happened with one person by name Ajamila, who, due to wrong association, he started forgetting or rather not following the principles of Brahminical say various rules, regulations, because of which he got into a wrong association and he had to marry a prostitute, and he had begotten children. So this is the incident which was being described by Prabhupada. So before this incident is being described, the conversation in Bhagavatam is happening between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj asking questions and Shukadeva Goswami is answering the questions of Parikshit. So Parikshit had heard in the 5th canto that there's many descriptions of hellish planets. So Parikshit was very concerned. How can the people who are suffering in the hell be liberated? That was his concern. So Shukadeva Goswami was giving different options available for people to come out of the hellish situation. So this particular question of Parikshit itself was indicating how, as a devotee, he does not want to see that anybody is suffering anywhere. This is devotee's compassion. Even living entities were suffering in hell because of their own actions. As a reaction, they are suffering there. For that also, a devotee is feeling compassion. That is the topic which we are trying to understand in our sessions, which we have been discussing since last few weeks. So, description of hellish planets was given, just like there are planets in this material world with where different living entities are there, human beings, devatas, like that. There are also hellish planets where when the human beings are performing sinful actions, they are taken there. and given punishment, and again accordingly they are trained to take up one more next body. Right? This is the description of hellish planets. So, which means the hellish planets, the heavenly planets are all facts. They are not simply some mythology or some imagination. No. So the devotees' attitude of how to relieve the suffering of suffering humanity is what we are supposed to understand here. And the devotee is always concerned how to see that the people are always happy, right? Hell means a lot of suffering, a lot of punishment. So for this reason, any offense committed against a devotee is not tolerated by Krishna. He does not, he has zero tolerance with regard to this. We have many examples in the history. Jesus Christ was such a great devotee. His only mission was how to deliver people from the sinful way of living, right? But the very people whom he wanted to deliver, they killed him. But nevertheless, Jesus Christ, when he was crucified, he only begged to God that, please forgive these people. They don't know what they're doing. That is the way a devotee is. So we have examples of other great personalities which we discussed in our session of Prahalad Maharaj, right? So the duty of a Vaishnava is only to save people from suffering, actually. Prahalad Maharaj was a great devotee. He was telling, for myself, I am not worried because I am practicing devotion to you and my deliverance is assured. Whereas my anxiety is for people who are suffering here because they don't know what they're doing. Why? Because they're all engrossed in what is known as Maya Sukha. We understood this Maya Sukha as illusory happiness. Right? Prabhupada gives an example of how we want to have comfort of travel. So we have created vehicles. We have manufactured vehicles, and to manufacture those vehicles, we need to have big, big factories. And to run those vehicles, we need to have proper roads. Also, we need to have fuel. So with one comfort of transport, we have created so many other facilities to see that we have this comfort of travel. And with that comes the transport department, pollution control, like this, so many complications. That is called Maya Sukha. Prabhupada also says how the present day context we see, maybe traveling in the flight may take an hour and a half, but to reach the airport will take more time than to travel in the flight. It's called Maya Sukha. So like this, many arrangements we have made for comfortable life, but we don't know that we are getting entangled. So Prahlad Maharaj is worried about such people who are all absorbed in Maya Sukha. So Prabhupada says that actually pure devotees are not worried where they are living. There any situation they want to see that bhakti can be performed, and they exemplify this with their behavior, and they do perform just like Prahlad Maharaj was put in so many difficult situations, but even then he was always constantly engaged in devotion to Krishna. So bhakti is called ahaituki apratihata, which means no material condition can stop performance of bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj further said, but actually, there's one more class of spiritualists called Jnanis or empirical philosophers. They are worried about their own personal liberation. So they go to, very secluded places, maybe like Himalayas, and they are busy in their own personal salvation, study of scriptures. They are not mingling with common people. Whereas a devotee, a pure Vaishnava, he is in the midst of people. He wants to liberate everyone. The difference, right? This is the difference between a jnani and a bhakta. Bhakta is always, even at the risk of his own personal life and personal liberation, he wants to help others. This is the compassion of a Vaishnava. And Prabhupada told us the simple technique of surrender is that right now we are all entangled. We should understand our situation of how we are so much engrossed in Maya Sukha. Simple technique of surrender is to pray to Krishna that please save me from this entanglement. The Hare Krishna mantra, Maha Mantra, what we chant every day is actually that prayer. We are praying to Lord Krishna and his energy, Radharani, that I am right now entangled in Maya Shakti. Please relieve me from this Maya Shakti and engage me in your service. So this sincere prayer we're supposed to have. This is the simple technique of surrender. And further, Prabhupada also gave the example of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were all highly placed in society, but they gave up all their very exalted positions as ministers, and then they took up the renounced order of life just for the welfare of the entire humanity. So this is the Vaishnava's compassionate heart. They don't bother about their personal comforts. They want people's liberation. So Prabhupada was explaining to us how Lord Krishna is the supreme witness. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Upadrishta. I am observing every action of yours. Also providing, Anumanta means he's also providing whatever desires we are having. To fulfill those desires, Krishna sanctions the various aspects to fulfill those desires. But provided we deserve that. Otherwise, Krishna will see that it is facilitated, that you deserve, first of all, then you'll be given the proper results. So this is one important aspect with regard to actions which people do, because people think, oh, nobody is watching my actions. And there are some religions which think that there's no witness for what actions you do. Just like in the court of law, unless there is a proper witness, proper proof, the case is not will not be proved. Right? So likewise, people think, so who is watching us? I can do whatever I want. But the scriptures give us the understanding very clearly that Lord is sitting as Paramatma. He is supreme witness and is watching every action of ours, and he is sanctioning also whatever we are desiring based on our deserving capacity. So further, we also understood, I am responsible for all my actions. Nobody is responsible. We are not to blame anybody for our actions. Right? So whatever good or bad actions we do, we are responsible for that. Right? For the further reactions. So like this, we understood so many wonderful principles in the previous session. Today, we'll continue with our discussions. And Prabhupada is going to now tell us, okay, you have done something wrong. There are different kinds of atonement prescribed in the scriptures. This is basically as an answer to the question of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know, what is the way out for people who are suffering in hell? So Shukadeva Goswami said that there is a process called prayaschitta or atonement for a particular action you have done, sinful action. You have to do one more counteracting action, which will neutralize that sinful action. This is what Shukadeva Goswami is going to tell now. So in that context, Prabhupada explains us many wonderful principles. So there are two kinds of activities, good and bad. If you act nicely and perform pious activities, then you get good fortune. And if you act sinfully, then you have to suffer. Right? Even in the ordinary sense of our routine life, we have this discrimination of good and bad. Right? Stealing is bad. Right? Being kind to others is good. Like this, we have some principles of morality and some things which is guiding our society to have a proper decent behavior in society, right? So at least from the moral point of view, you see there are two kinds of activities. So even the scriptures say, yes, the activities which will help you to move forward in your spiritual journey, they are good activities, and by performing them, you get good fortune. And if you act contrary, then you have to suffer. So Shukadeva Goswami is recommending or rather answering Parikshit's question like this. This is a Bhagavatam sloka from 6th canto. Tasmat puraivashu iha papa nishkrutau yateta mrityor avipadyatatmana doshasya drishtva guru laghavam yatha bishak chikitseta rujam nidanavit. So he says, there are different kinds of atonement. If you commit some sin and counteract it by something else, that is atonement. In Sanskrit, it is called as prayaschitta. Okay. So, different types of sins you do, and for every sin, there is one kind of counteracting action which will neutralize the sin. So, there are examples of this in the Bible, Christian Bible also. Right? It's like every week, Sunday, the Christians go to church and they go to the Father and acknowledge that whole week I have committed these sins, and please forgive me. Right? So accordingly, there's some recommendations which the Father gives. Okay, you do this, do that. Right? So likewise, you have to the sins are neutralized. But the point is, every week you go and again you seek forgiveness and do some atonement, prayaschitta, and you continue as this as a business. That is not good. Right? Once you committed a sin, fine, you'll be excused and given a proper punishment for that. But again, don't commit the sin. That's the point. So this is what Shukadeva Goswami has recommended as a first option. And many scriptures, many religions also recommend this, that to counteract one sin, you have to perform one more action to neutralize the sin. So examples of many such atonements, prayaschitta, is there in the Bible also. So Shukadeva Goswami is telling, you should know that you are responsible, and according to the gravity of sinful life, should accept some type of atonement as described in the Shastras, the scriptures. Right? It is, for example, you see, if you don't offer proper respects to sannyasi, when you see him, when you first time see him, then it is considered to be a sin. So you are supposed to perform some prayaschitta of fasting for a day or something like that. Or there are fasting days called Ekadashi days. So Ekadashi, you are supposed to fast from grains, basically. By mistake, you have taken grains for whatever unknown reasons. You sincerely pray to Krishna that you committed this particular sin. Because eating grains on the Ekadashi day is considered to be sin. So you have to again fast on Trayodashi day. The recommendation is that. So like this, there are many recommendations. In fact, there are many strict rules, regulations in the Vedic scriptures. If you see a non-devotee, a bhakta, then you are supposed to go and immediately jump into Ganga water and take a dip. So like this, strong recommendations are given with regard to prayaschitta. So that's what Shukadeva Goswami is telling. You should know that you are responsible for all the reactions, actions, what is happening. And according to the gravity of sinful life, a specific type of atonement should be prescribed or should be taken up. So Prabhupada explains, actually, just as when one is diseased, he must go to a doctor and pay doctor bills as a form of atonement. Simple example Prabhupada is giving. Right? When you have some disease, you go to doctor and you have to pay the bill of the consultancy and as well as the medicine. Right? It's one form of atonement, it is. According to the Vedic way of life, there's a class of Brahmanas to whom one should go for the prescribed atonement according to the sins one commits. Right? So they know, based on scriptural background, they will recommend you what is that you're supposed to be doing. What type of atonement or prayaschitta you should be doing. Jukadeva Goswami says that one has to execute the prescribed atonement according to the gravity of one's sinful life. A very important point, note here. Right? The seriousness of the sin also will have serious atonement. Very simple sin will have a simple atonement. Right? That is what it means here. He continues the example. Doshasya drishtva guru laghavam yatha bishat chikitseta rujam nidanavit. When you consult a physician, he prescribes an inexpensive medicine or a costly medicine according to the gravity of the disease. Right? Based on the disease level, you are given different prescriptions. Right? So Prabhupada gives example. If you simply have a headache, he may prescribe an aspirin. But if you have something very severe, he immediately prescribes a surgical operation. It will cost $1,000. Depending on the severity of the disease, you have accordingly the prescription and the medicine is given. Right? Similarly, based on the severity of the sin, for which you have to consult the learned brahmanas, they will prescribe you. Oh, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So Prabhupada says, sinful life in that way is a diseased condition. Similarly, sinful life is a diseased condition, so one must follow the prescribed cure to become healthy. Sinful life means you suffer in various ways in terms of having a diseased condition or implicated in some legal cases or not having a happy situation around you. It's all effects of sinful life. So sinful life means it's a diseased condition, you should understand. Right? Somebody going through a lot of poverty that he's not even able to have basic necessities. A sinful life. Not that we are underestimating or undermining the situation. No. You should understand that from the lens of the scriptures, what is scriptures describing us? When somebody is going through some situations of misery, it's because he has performed some wrong actions for which he is getting a reaction. That's the point. So rather than we should always take compassion on such situations and see how best we can help the situation of in the person's life by giving him the devotional aspect of practices. So sinful life is a diseased condition. So one must follow the prescribed cure to become healthy. Acceptance of the chain of birth and death is a diseased condition of the soul. This is the disease what we are going through. When we have a body, means it is an abnormal condition for the soul. Because soul is actually having spiritual body in the spiritual world. Just like when you have fever, your normal life of eating or talking or actions were all disrupted. Similarly, our spiritual body right now is covered up and we've got a material body. And this material body is like a diseased condition for the soul. So this body is changing life after life, which means you are continuing to be diseased. In the scriptures, it is called Bhava Roga. Bhava Roga means repeated birth and death. Repetition of birth and death is called Bhava Roga. So acceptance of the chain of birth and death is a diseased condition of the soul. Very important revelation. We have to understand this. The soul has no birth and death and no disease because it is spirit. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about this. Na jayate, the soul has no birth. Na mriyate, it has no death. Right? Na jayate, na mriyate, va kadachin, bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. The soul is never born. The soul never dies. It has come into being. It never ceases to be. It is ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana. It is unborn, eternal, abide eternally, it is existing, then it is Shashvata. It is ever existing, and it is Purana, very old, primeval. Right? When the body dies, the soul does not die. This is what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita about the real nature of the soul. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire, Krishna says. Na hanyate means it is not killed or destroyed even after the destruction of this body. Very important revelation. We should contemplate on this particular point. Our body is getting old. Our body will die, means it will stop functioning when the soul goes out. But the soul will not die. This is a basic lesson Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad Gita in the very beginning chapters. Arjuna was very concerned, very distressed that, I'm going to kill all these various soldiers on the battlefield. Krishna told him, even you kill, is not that you're killing the soul, just that the body is harmed. The soul will get one more body, because soul's existence is eternal. A very important point which we have to understand from Bhagavad Gita. So this is the basic missing point in the present day modern understanding, that after this body is finished, everything is finished. It is wrong. Your journey of life continues. Because the body is only a dress. The soul is eternal, permanent. This is the missing point of modern civilization about the existence of the soul. The missing point of modern civilization is that there is no education system to instruct people on what happens after death. Right? Very important point which Prabhupada again and again stressed in his different teachings, in his books, that there is no such university, no such arrangement in the modern day education system to tell people about our journey of life beyond death. Our journey of life is actually eternal. We're going to continue living. So our next life depends on all the different actions which we are doing right now. Right? This is a very important principle, because Prabhupada has been stressing on this point of, as you sow, so shall you reap. You have done bad actions, so you have to suffer as a reaction next life of getting a life which is very degraded. Right? And if you act the way Lord Krishna wants us to act, as given in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna assures that this is your last life. After this, you're going to get a spiritual body, revive your spiritual body and go back to spiritual world. So this is the assurances Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. So the modern day civilization is actually not having this understanding of soul and journey of life and what happens after death. This education is not given. They're just busy with the Maya Sukha, as Prahlad Maharaj says. Thus, we have the most defective education, because without this knowledge of what happens after death, one dies like an animal. Very striking point Prabhupada is making. Right? The human being also leads a life. The animal also leads a life. If the human being does not understand that beyond this particular life, I have one more life. After death, my journey of life continues. If he simply behaves like an animal in every aspect, ignorant about the self, basically, ignorant about the soul, then he's as good as animal. He also dies like an animal, doesn't know what is going on in my life. This is the modern day, we can say, lacking. People are lacking about this understanding. What happens after death? Nobody knows. Whereas Bhagavad Gita clearly describes. After all, it's our life, we have to know our journey of life. The animal does not know that he is going to have another body. He has no such knowledge. Right? Just like the example is given, you are walking, one step you have kept, next step you are confident that, where I am going to keep is a solid ground, only then you'll keep the next step. Like that, you keep walking. Likewise, journey of life is such that one body you have got, like in this body also, if you see, in this life also, you see, you have changed many, many bodies. This is exactly what Krishna explains in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tha dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana mukhyati. Krishna says that this body is undergoing so many transformations from the time of birth to next it grows into a child, then a boy, then a youth, then middle age, then old age. And one fine day, it is left the body. So Krishna says it's called Dehantara. Even in this life, we are seeing our bodies changing from boyhood to youth to old age to finally death. And after that, what happens? Krishna says, the way you change your bodies now, again you'll get one more body. Leaving this body is called death, and taking one more body is called birth. This is exactly what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. So this knowledge is lacking in the present day, society. So animal does not know all these things. That he's going to have another body. He has no such knowledge. So he's just acting very ignorantly. So Prabhupada says, human life is not meant for becoming an animal. Very strong statement. Right? Human life is not simply to live an animal life. What is animal life? Prabhupada explains further. One should not simply be interested in eating, sleeping, mating, and defense. Animal life means 4 activities. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitri. Busy in all is only 4 activities. If you analyze anybody's life now, in the modern day society, you see, they're all busy with these 4 things only. Right? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Now you are working for what? To earn money so that I can eat nicely, I can have a proper, a shelter, house for sleeping and enjoying my senses. And finally, to protect my body from different types of problems. That's all. You are also doing the same thing, and animals also doing the same thing. Maybe you are doing in a more polished way. And that's what Prabhupada wants to explain to us. You may have a very nice arrangement for eating. Right? Oh, nice dining table, very nicely arranged, all the dishes and the different, utensils. Or you may have nice buildings for sleeping. Whereas animals may not have such nice buildings for sleeping. They may be sleeping on the streets or some corner. A very good arrangement for sex life. Or a very good defense force to protect you, but that does not mean that you're a human being. Whatever arrangements we have now in the material world, you see, analyze, only concerning these 4 necessities of life. Right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. As these 4 necessities are fulfilled, oh, I'm a very successful person, we think. That type of civilization, according to the Bhagavata, Bhagavad Gita, and great devotees, is animal life. So Prahlad Maharaj was very concerned. He was very much unhappy that such a life people are living. Maya Sukha life they are living. This type of civilization is called animal life. So Prabhupada now distinguishes between what is animal civilization and human civilization. Animals are also interested in eating, sleeping, and sex life. And according to their own methods, they defend also. Animals also do this. We also do this. Whereas we do it in a much more organized way, maybe. So where then is the distinction between human life and animal life? If you simply engage in these 4 principles of bodily nature. So this particular point, Prabhupada stresses again and again to make us understand that human life is not simply meant to live a life like an animal. Right? Man is called a rational animal. If rationality of what is the purpose of life, why I am dying, how can I avoid death, what is this birth, again and again, these questions don't come. It's called rationality. then you remain an animal. That's the point. So, distinction between human life and animal life is not that, oh, both of us are doing same things, no difference. No. We do have a distinction. Human life has a better advanced intelligence. The distinction is made when a human being is inquisitive. Why have I been put into this miserable condition? What is this going on? What is this problem going on in my life? I'm going through so many sufferings repeatedly. I'm going through, disease, old age, death, and I have to go to hell to suffer. Again, I have to take one more body like this, life after life, so many miseries I'm suffering. Why I'm put into this miserable condition of life? Is there any remedy for it? Is there any perpetual eternal life? Right? So this inquisitiveness has to come. This can come only in the human form of life. Right? Otherwise, even humans who live like animals and these questions don't come, they remain as in the animalistic way of thinking. That's the point. I do not want to die. I want to live very happily and peacefully. Is there a chance of this? It's called Brahma Jigyasa, or questions about ourself. Right? What is that method? What is that science? Right? I don't want to get diseased. I don't want to get old. I don't want to die. I want eternal life. All these questions will come in us because as in our nature, it is all there. Right? When we disease, we run to doctor. Why? Because we don't want to be diseased. It's an abnormal condition for me. I don't want to die because my nature as soul, I'm eternal. So those natures of soul is expressed in our behavior, but somehow the material world, in this material world, we've got a body which we are forced to go through these sufferings. So these should be our questions. Inquisitiveness should be from this point of view. Why am I suffering? What is this misery is going on? A pure devotee he has understood all these things and he wants to save people by enlightening them. Just like Prabhupada went all over the world to just enlighten people about these basic aspects of life and try to bring them to the point of understanding that don't simply live a life like animals, and you please awaken yourself and practice what is known as Krishna consciousness or bhakti. Right? So what is that method? What is that science? These things we should be thinking. Something which is going to stop my birth, my death. When these inquiries are there and steps are taken to answer these questions, that is human civilization. Otherwise, it is doggish civilization, animal civilization. Because animals don't have these queries, this inquisitiveness. So human civilization begins when these questions start. If you think yourself the body and go on with your bodily concept of life, that is animal life. Bodily conception of life means just eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These 4 activities, 4 necessities of life, you're just trying to fulfill whole life, and one day you die. Like any other animal, you die. That is not animal life. That is not called human life. So Prabhupada says when these questions come up of the nature of what is this purpose of life? Why am I here? Why am I forced to die? Is there any solution for this? Is there any remedy for this? This is the beginning of human civilization. So Prabhupada further says, we should have this understanding of the 4 real problems of life. Animals are satisfied if they can eat, sleep, have some sex, and have some defense. But every animal, if you see any animal, these are the 4 necessities. If they are given proper fulfillment of these 4 necessities, they're satisfied. Oh yeah, nice eating, nice sleeping, nice mating. Oh, everything is going on very well. Actually, one sense, if you see, whatever way you want to defend yourself, no one can protect himself from the cruel hands of death. This is a reality. Right? Everybody is working hard here and there, running everywhere, trying to be happy. But one fine day, you have to leave this body, which means there is some superior force acting on you. And that force is death. Kala, time is acting on you. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mrityu sarva haras chaham, which means I come as death at the last stage of your life. People who deny God, who whole life, are atheists. For them, God comes as cruel death. The example of Hiranyakashipu is there. And Hiranyakashipu denied God and he was telling, I am God. Finally, God came and killed him as death for him. Right? This is what happens. So, you may say, I have the best of the best facilities for defending myself. But can you save yourself from death? No. Nobody can save. No force in this world can save. So, Hiranyakashipu, for instance, wanted to live forever. So, underwent severe austerities. Right? He went to the mountains and undertook such great austerities to please Brahma to get eternal life. When Brahma appeared before Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu asked, give me eternal life. So Brahma said, I myself is not eternal. How can I give you eternal life? So indirectly, Hiranyakashipu asked for so many benedictions that, I'll not die in the sky, in the water, in the air, in the earth, like this. So many things, he started asking indirectly. Not by any weapon, not by human, not by animal, not by demon. So many benedictions he asked indirectly to see that nobody can kill him. Nothing can kill him. So Brahma fulfilled. But Lord came in a form which even Hiranyakashipu couldn't imagine. It was neither animal nor human. It half man, half lion. And he was killed by a weapon which you cannot say it is a weapon, by the nails. And he was not killed in the air or in the, on the land or in the water. He was killed exactly at the door entrance of his palace on the lap of Narsimhadev. Right? So like this, many, aspects of Brahma's, all the aspects of Brahma's benediction were kept intact. And Lord, being the supreme intelligent personality, he killed the demon Hiranyakashipu. Right? So Hiranyakashipu tried his best to have eternal life, for which he underwent severe austerities. But Lord finally destroyed him, killed him. So the so-called scientists in the present day context also are all telling, in the future, we shall have some mechanism wherein you can stop death by scientific methods. Right? So they're telling, you all now will have some chemicals to preserve your body now. So tomorrow or rather very soon, we are going to have some mechanism wherein we can inject some more chemicals and will make you alive. So they are thinking life is something like chemicals. No, life is not matter. Right? Life is beyond, it is beyond matter. Right? Soul is not material. Soul is anti-material. It is spiritual. This aspect, the scientists are lacking. It's like Hiranyakashipu was thinking, I'm going to live eternally. No, with body cannot stay forever. Atma is eternal. Soul is eternal. So this is also another crazy utterance. It is not possible. So Prabhupada often very boldly challenged the scientists, the modern day thinkers, for wrong propaganda in society. We will give you assurance, we will do that, we will do this. Simply misleading the common people. You may make great advancement in scientific knowledge, but there is no scientific solution to these 4 problems: birth, death, old age, and disease. Right? These 4 problems are going to exist. Everybody is going to face them. Whatever scientific advancement you make, no solution for these 4 problems. One who is intelligent will be eager to solve these 4 primary problems. Right? This is the point. So when this point of understanding or realization comes, there are 4 problems we are going through always. And this has to be solved. Not simply the problem of eating, sleeping, mating. No, it's not a problem. It is already Lord is providing everybody everything. The problems of 4 necessities of life should be resolved in our human form of life. No one wants to die, but there is no remedy. I have to die. Everyone is very anxious to stop the increase of population by employing so many contraceptive methods. But still, birth is going on. Right? You want to stop birth in so many ways, but even then, every day, so many births happening. No stoppage of birth. Hmm. You may invent up-to-date medicines by your scientific methods, but you cannot stop disease. This is the facts. It is not possible to take a tablet to put an end to disease. Right? Not or today maybe you will have no symptoms of a disease, but again tomorrow it may come back. Right? That is how it is. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. One might think that he has solved all the problems of his life, but where is the solution to these four problems of birth, death, old age, and disease? That's why these four problems are called real problems of our life. So what is the solution? What is the way out? Solution is Krishna consciousness. Solution is Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti so Arjuna. Every one of us is giving up our body at every moment. I give the example of how from very birth we are changing our bodies, which means that body of a childhood, where it is now, it is not there. We have taken one more body. Like this, at the point of death, we give this body and take one more body. So every moment we are changing our body. Right? Just that in this particular lifespan of this particular journey of life, we think, oh, I am the same person. But once you give up this whole, when you die, actually, this body stops functioning. Oh, you get one more body, then you totally forget about what was my previous life. So every one of us is giving up this body, our body, every moment. The last phase of giving up this body is called death. Right? This particular lifespan. But Krishna says, if anyone understands my appearance and disappearance and my activities, not superficially, but in truth, after giving up this body, he never again accepts the material body. This is the important principle Krishna is explaining in Gita. If you can somehow understand the various activities of Krishna, how Krishna is born, how Krishna performed many leelas, and what instruction is given in Bhagavad Gita, if you can understand them in fact, in truth, Krishna says, this is the way out for you, solution for this cycle of birth and death. That's the reason why Prabhupada established this worldwide movement called Hare Krishna movement, Iskcon, to educate people in the science of Krishna. What happened to such a person? Krishna assures, Mameti, he returns to Krishna. You see, that is where our eternal existence is. If you have to go to Krishna, then you have to prepare your spiritual body, that is Krishna consciousness. Right? In this life, you practice the instructions as given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Then you are preparing yourself to go back to spiritual world. If you keep yourself in Krishna consciousness, then gradually you prepare your next body, a spiritual body, which will carry you immediately to Krishna Loka, the abode of Krishna, and you will become happy. It's like an ordinary person's life. He is preparing himself to get one more body. What body? It depends on your actions now. You may get a body of an animal, a body of a plant, an insect, or a body of a devata also. Right? Demigod also. It depends on your actions here in this life. But a person who is in Krishna consciousness or devotional service, his next life, Krishna is assuring, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. Next life, he will not take one more body, he will come to me. You see, Mameti. Mameti means he will come back to me. That's what Prabhupada is telling us here. By this way, immediately he'll get a spiritual body, spiritual existence. He'll go to abode of Krishna. You will live there perpetually and blissfully. This is our existence actually. Satchidananda existence. With this, we conclude this particular topic. Devotee always feels compassion. And that was a wonderful discussion. Prabhupada was revealing such great truths to all of us about, as human beings, what we are supposed to be doing. So I'll conclude here. Anybody has anything to ask, discuss, or comment before we close? Welcome. Okay. So no comments. So we'll close now and we'll come up with one more interesting topic next week again. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.